Hello and welcome to Life Daily with Dawn. During the first 12 days of April, I've been guided to share with you a video series that I'm calling Diamond Dimensions. And we're going to, at the beginning of each of these videos, I will leave this introduction. So if you are watching this and have already seen the introduction, you can look below for the timestamps or just skip forward to the new content for each day. So what is this series about? In this series, we're going to be discussing 12 facets of change and how we will be changed forever as one common family of humanity in the passage through the next 7 years, 2020 through 2027. Now, this series is a preparation, and yet whenever it is that you come across it, trust that timing and that there is something here for you, because we all are undergoing this process of transformation on an individual level and a collective level broadly, globally, and then within various communities of belonging, the timing may be slightly different. So I will be discussing it in terms of this 7-year period, but just know that this is appropriate at any point that you might encounter it, and there's probably something here for you. So these 12 patterns of potential, or these 12 facets of change, are gateways to our collective soul story, how we see ourselves, who we see ourselves as in terms of humanity, and where we are acknowledging those the ways that we are co-creating a tapestry of timeless truths and weaving the world together. So the 12 patterns of potential, or the 12 facets of change, are both a collective clearing and a reset. They're revealed fully as we allow the play of light, of God or spirit life, and the flow of light and life and love through us. When we allow that to move through us and be revealed fully, individually and collectively, when we have cycled through them through this 7-year period or in our own timing, they will allow, they being the 12 dimensions and the 12 facets of change, those will support us and will allow for us to step into the creation of a new society, and they will help us to find a whole new way forward together as we step into a new era rich in love. So to discuss these 12 patterns of potential, I'm going to share 12 C symbols. C, S-E-A, stands for Soul Essence Art. I'm not going to take the time to go into all of that here, but you can get a brief overview of what Soul Essence Art is in terms of the intuitive creative process that I developed for myself by taking a look at my art website at dawnrichersonart.com. I'll put the link below. But these 12 C symbols were given to me around the 15th of March as a way to support us collectively as we can connect with these 12 points of change and anchor in the light that we are, preparing for the collective transition ahead. So this is a common way that Spirit communicates with me, often giving me anchor points, if you will, either in terms of these symbols, as it was in this case, or through various what I call seeds for life, or little connecting points that I then am able to interpret and share with you. And I don't interpret these until I'm sharing them with you, so I really have no plan yet of what I'm going to say during these 12 days. I just trust Spirit to guide me each day. So what I know is that there is a much broader message here for us collectively. And this is a really pivotal time, a very exciting time, although so much appears to be and is in fact collapsing. And that must happen so that we can create this new society and create what some would call the new earth, and step into a whole new way of seeing ourselves, a whole new way of being ourselves, and a whole new way of freeing ourselves. And that, again, happens individually and collectively. So in terms of the C symbols themselves, if you want, to kind of get another version or experience of how that works for me, you can take a look at my book, Energetic Perspectives, which is available on Amazon. And that's actually a really good resource right now because it's a soul activation coloring book or activity book with just very, very simple C symbols that were given to me back in, I believe, 2014, 15, somewhere around there. And that will help you to connect individually to the light and the life and the love you are at your core through the clearing of energetic blocks or patterns that are not of life, that do not support you as you come to life and live in full expression, but rather have blocked some aspect of growth and change for you. So in terms of this video series, though, we're going to be looking at these 12 C symbols, and those are the portals to the larger patterns of potentiality that are emerging now in these 7 years ahead. During the first 5 days of our series, we are looking at the interior star of wonder. Now, STAR is another acronym that I use for your soul's truth and radiance. And this star shape in the center of the diagram that you can see at the beginning of these videos, within this larger star shape that is the central wheel of the image of the 12 dimensions, are 5 points that are also 5 wheels. I'm going to talk about them in terms of 5 wheels, even though they're not depicted that way on the diagram. It was getting a little complex, and so I wanted to keep it simple. But these wheels, these are 5 wheels within a wheel that are now in motion in this 7-year period, and they will move us into greater meaning and movement and forward momentum as we navigate what I call the Great Return, and this awakening, this collective transformation that we are undergoing right now. This great return, it's a return to wholeness, and that happens again individually and collectively. And this great return is a remembrance that at our collective core, at the core of humanity and what it means to be human, is light and life and love. And for many, many thousands of years, that we have not seen that, perhaps longer. And instead, we have operated from a different paradigm, and it has led us to decay and disillusionment and disunity, I would say. And so it's a reclamation, a radical reclamation and a radiant realization. It's a radical reclamation of who we are collectively together on the way, and a radiant realization of and a new awakening to what can be and where it is we are headed and what we each have to offer and what collectively we want to give birth to in this new era rich in love. So the turning of these 5 wheels will set us on a new trajectory that again it's what some refer to as New Earth, and it's, however you look at it, it's a new experience, a new human experience. Again, a whole new way of seeing ourselves, a whole new way of being ourselves together on the way, and a whole new way of freeing ourselves in the whole of humanity. So one thing is certain, by the close of 2020, the first year in the 7-year cycle, and certainly by 2027, the culmination of the 7-year cycle, we are going to see how humanity itself will be changed forever. I'm going to save the details of this for our last 7 days during this 12-day series, but we're going to take a look at the 7 wonders of the soul: faith, hope, love, healing, growth, passion, and beauty, and those how those relate to the last 7 dimensions of change or expansion. It's also about radiant expansion from within the soul of humanity. So in terms of the first 5 days and that star of wonder, in the center of this larger diamond experience, these diamond dimensions that are held together as one, in the center of the 7 years, to prepare us for the 7-year transition, are these 5 wheels within a wheel, the 5-pointed star of wonder. And again, that represents our true power as one people, our soul's truth and radiance, the soul of humanity that resides at the very core, at the very heart of humanity, and humanity being filled with every good and perfect gift streaming down from the Father of Lights, from the the great creator, from life itself. If you're not, a person of faith or religion, that's fine. From life itself, it is the very substrate of who we are, and that is the structure on which this new era, rich in love, will be built. So within the center of the star are the 5 wheels in motion, and the way I see them is it's not just a flat in motion rotating, it's that, but also the spinning sphere. So they're spherical, not just flat wheels. These wheels within a wheel represent the turning of the tides of time, and the turning toward, it's a turning back to the sacred wholeness of who we are together, and it is a turning forward as well, from the moment of the now toward again, this new era rich in love. So the 5 wheels we'll be looking at are the wheel of reordering, the wheel of restructuring, the wheel of remembering, the wheel of recreation, and the wheel of radiance. So welcome to day 1. Here we are, and this is the first of the 12 dimensions of change, facets of change, sea symbol that I was given. This one, I was told the name was sea, shore, and sky, which didn't seem to fit the image right away. But what I have discovered as I look at it more and more is I see, I feel like, here I'm almost at the beach, and these figures moving around the edge, and these strange little shapes that are in formation. And there is an orderly feel to this one. So in the center of this, you will see kind of a wispy look, and the wheel turning in the center of this this 8-sided shape that you have, where the people or angels, whichever you think, there are walking around. And there's the idea of wind. And to me, wind always symbolizes the movement of spirit. And so right away, there is a feeling here of the movement of life, and and there's an order to this, and this one I was told was called the Wheel of Reordering. And it's all about cosmic context, the cosmic larger context for what we are going through as a common collective of humanity, and placing ourselves within that larger context. It's also about the environment, and it was very clear that the sea, shore, and sky, those 3 elements, again, placing us, squarely within the earth realm, but also not just fixed on, what is right here and right now, in terms of immediate environmental concerns, but also how our environment that we create here on Earth is connected to all of life everywhere in the multiverse, right? So as I look at this image, a couple of things come to me. One is, it looks as if the figures who are moving around and around this outer the shores of this inner movement of spirit are a bit oblivious. They're just going around in circles, and it's almost as if they're unaware of what is being formed from the waves, or the patterns of change that are rippling out from the movement of spirit. They're unaware of this little, almost, it reminds me of like a little sand dollar on the beach, that's right behind them, and that their actual movement is contributing to the formation of this. Another thing that comes to mind for me is, when I look at this image that I was given, this sea symbol, is a passage from Cultivating Essence from the Matrix of Soul, and it's from my Seeds for Life book, and you can also look for Awakening the World Within on Amazon. And in those books, there is Life Seed number 16, which talks about our collective story of life, and how we've been stumbling over this truth hidden in plain sight. Message after message, wave upon wave of truth rise up from within. You are love, you are love, you are love. These are the whispers, right? Do you remember now? Love is who you are. Love is who we are. And the opportunity for us now in this time as we experience this wheel of reordering is to really receive this message in a bottle. SOS, you are loved beyond measure. And I'm going to read to you the core passage called This Is Your Message in a Bottle from the Seeds for Life book. The shores of your world are filled with reminders of how deeply you are loved. It's as if in your lives you are walking along a beach, literally stumbling over bottle after bottle, each capped and containing a precious message of assurance and protection. They appear one after the other, piling up layer upon layer, and you never even bother to look down. Few are the ones who stop and recognize at all that someone, somewhere is trying to get a message through. Fewer still are the number among you who bother to pop the cork and read the message. It is rare indeed to find one whose heart is ready to receive this abundant truth. SOS. You, as you are loved beyond measure. There are endless oceans filled with wave after wave, rising and falling with this resounding message. Let it wash over you. Let it change your world. I hope you're getting the message. When you do, pass it on, okay? And pick up the bottles, will you? So you can hear in this little excerpt of This Is Your Message in a Bottle. And this, by the way, goes with the life seed number 16, which is know you are loved beyond measure and know you are loved. And so it's as if we have been collectively going through the motions, circling around in this perpetual spin cycle that we call life, and a little bit out of touch with just how miraculous our experience is and how we are part of a much larger cosmic context, and that what happens here in our environment and how we care for what has been entrusted to us, namely the beautiful earth that we call our home, and how we tend to that, and how we move and take responsibility or not for our own actions as it pertains to caring for our collective home matters far beyond our atmosphere and our galaxy. It affects all of life and the patterns of potential and the patterns of life for generations to come here on Earth, and for the galaxy, and for, again, that much larger context. I'm struggling a bit to talk about it because I really don't have the words, but I'm staying with the image. I want to talk about a few other things. So this, it's as if, that we often are unaware of what's right there, the message, from life, from spirit, because we are so busy tending to what we think is so important. And we also seem to have forgotten our power. It's these wing-like appendages. At first I thought these were angels, but the more that I look at this, the more I feel like it is the light that we each are, and we have somehow been divided from it, whether willingly and willfully, or whether, by just again, being quite oblivious, or, busy with our distractions and what we think is so necessary day to day. And we have missed the beautiful patterns that are offered up by life, here represented by the sea, and these very faint, I'm not sure you can see them on this image here, but they're faint bubble, like 3 circles behind this, what I'm calling the sand dollars, the little circles behind each figure. There are these 3, bubbles, these a trinity sort of energetic bubbles that are coming up from the ocean and the sky, and transforming and offering up this gift, this opportunity. It's an invitation into formation and reformation and transformation that, again, it changes us all collectively, because whenever one changes, we all change. And whenever one steps forward and finds the ability to respond and to care for our environment, then we all have the opportunity to do so. The other thing that really strikes me is, so this, what I'm calling the sand dollar form here, reminds me of a Soul Streams journey that I led. It's still available online. I'll put the link below for anyone who's interested. And it's a 7-day sampler called Circles in the Sand. And it's all about your own life's journey, your essential journey, and how you have been formed just as the sand dollar. And there's a poem, What the Sand Dollar Had to Say, that I use in this 7-day journey. And we walk through the 7 daily invitations of the circles in the sand. And the invitations themselves are tracing the story of life that we all move through. And the 7 aspects of that particular journey are in paradise, the storm, after the flood, your soul's rising song, long silence in the sun, a gentle tide, and on the shores of tomorrow. And the invitations, the 7 daily invitations, are rooted in this story that I share in this journey. It's a Healing Streams journey that's available on my website. And then I run you through some journaling questions and an opportunity to really connect to your own essential story of life, the journey that you have made in this life. And the thing is that we all need to get in touch with this, because each of us has a piece of the larger, I don't even want to call it a puzzle, the larger patterns of potentiality. And so the image of the sand dollar is one that is helpful and useful here, because the sand dollar itself is shaped and formed by the tides in the ocean. And just as we are shaped and formed by the tides of time and our life's essential journey and our life's experience. Let me read you a poem that I wrote that is also in this online journey. And the poem is called What the Sand Dollar Has to Say. And as you listen to this poem, I invite you to consider your own life story and how you can connect more fully to it and bring that to you, with you, bring it forward with you as you move through your daily life, and really begin to think about how you have been shaped by life, by the earth, by nature, by the elements, by all of the various aspects of spirit moving through your life, and how that is something that is truly valuable and meaningful to our collective experience. And consider too how the topic of reordering, because this is the wheel of reordering, how you have seen yourself as connected with the sea, the shore, and the sky, how you have seen yourself as connected with this earth, how you have seen yourself as connected with the whole of humanity, how you have seen yourself as one with life, one with light and life and love, or not. So here is the poem, What the Sand Dollar Has to Say. In the sound of the surf, that shared memory which echoes endlessly for the both of us, you strain to hear my voice, swallowed, it seems, by the tidal wave that has washed me away from you and also from myself. I am no more those carefree grains of sand slipping through your hands, molded into some sandcastle masterpiece. I appear worn and thin, frail, brittle, rough round the edges, etched with ripples. Look at me, hold me, and discover who I am. You will see the smooth holes, missing pieces you miss in the me you remember, loved perhaps. But God, who rules the seas in mystery, works through suffering. Every day I feel those absent parts of me, but they have become a compass, pointing me always back to the source of all I am and ever hope to be. If you look closely and hold me ever so gently, you'll find the imprint of a feathered flower, fragile petals emanating from a star-shaped center. It is not perfect, and you must look past the uneven surfaces into the soul of me to see God's mark of beauty. Nevertheless, it's there, majestic mark of grace, bold patterns of purpose, proof of my belonging to eternity. Before you go, listen to the rush of my heart's river, forged anew from the largest hole, which points true north and sings of the sea and you. So what does the sand dollar have to say to you? What is it that you may have missed in your circling around and going through the motions of life, daily life? And here in this pause that we find ourselves in when I'm recording this, what more perfect opportunity could there be to reconsider and to, if necessary, reconfigure the way that you move through this world, perhaps paying a bit more attention to all that has been formed through your essential journey of life and all you have come to be in this time, and to reclaim that light within you and to allow all of your story to be something that informs you. You know, it's not just information, what we have lived for, but rather we ourselves are in formation. And each one of us has a majestic mark of grace, a bold pattern of purpose, proof of belonging to eternity and to each other. And so listen to your life as you consider the wheel of reordering and you allow your life to be reordered in a way that is more honoring of yourself and the light you are at your core, of all of humanity and the light that we are at our core, and to the patterns of life that are revealed in nature, in the surf and the sand, in the sea and the shore and the sky. So look for the feathers, feel the wind moving through you, feel the river of life that you are, and know that even the pieces that you think are missing in you are only invitations into a greater mystery and a beauty that we are moving into in this 7-year transition. So once again, I just invite you to look at this image. There are many aspects to it, and I trust that you will see what you are needing most to see, and you may see something that I haven't even mentioned here. So this again is the wheel of reordering, and it places us in a cosmic context, and it's an invitation to environmental reorientation and how we see ourselves as fully connected to one another, to the world around us, to nature and the patterns of nature, and to the cosmos at large. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks so much.